Hi, good morning, everyone.
Good
And I would
morning.
like to welcome all of you to this webinar. I'm Akanksha and I'm working with Khushi. And before we start, I think I should introduce you to our lovely panelists. And thank you for making time on a Sunday afternoon to join us and discuss this such an important topic. So I'll start with introducing all of you to Monica. She is co-managing partner, Gugger and Partners, Solicitors and Advocates. She is one of the highly recommended for her legal acumen and pragmatic legal strategy. Monica counsels clients on issues pertaining to women and child rights, which includes inter alia POXO, POSH compliance, and human rights. She has been instrumental in sensitizing and conditioning the women working forces such as IPS and CISF and other organizations, both private and public, regarding sexual exploitation and offences. I would like to welcome Karishma Mehra, who's basically Karishma is a practicing psychologist, family therapist, and parenting coach. She is the director at the Delhi Cube Association, where she is a mentor to the young practicing graphologists. She offers her services as a life coach for women and children as well. Currently, she is associated with Max Hospital, Sardar Patel Vidyalaya, and DPS RK Puram. She also runs a center called Happiness Quotient in Delhi, specially designed to help people become the happiest version of themselves. So I think this is very interesting, and once we'll start this discussion, I'm sure that we'll get to know more about their work. So I would like to start with Monica, and probably this is a very pertinent question, which would also set the context for our webinar today. So I would like to ask you, Monica, what is the connection between COVID-19 and spike in child labor?
You can't separate them, I think. As we
Yeah.
all know, COVID-19 has disrupted our economy in the most unprecedented manner and has also brought to light the deplorable condition of our labor force. I think while the pandemic has caused severe damage to our economy, and we understand this, it's also shown a mirror to us about our inability, failures, and weaknesses, which is somewhere hiding behind our multi-trillion dollar dream. I still remember watching on TV the sight of migrants walking back to their villages in this excruciating heat without water, without food. But little did we think at that point, वो जो एक आदमी चलते हुए जा रहा है, वो अपने परिवार के पास जा रहा है, and that entire family dependent on this one particular individual who's walking back. So when he goes back there, he will frankly have no choice. He has no means of livelihood. He has nothing for basic sustenance. So he'll have three choices: either to beg or take high, harsh interest loans, which will only push him and his family towards bonded labor, including his children, because they're completely dependent on him. He doesn't have a choice. Or pick up a job in an informal sector where he gets underpaid and also ask his family to work. Because otherwise, it's very difficult to survive. So that in survival, this is the first thing that they have to face. And then I think to myself when I ask this question, where is our right to life, which is guaranteed under the Constitution? COVID may or may not kill us, but this starvation, this exploitation will certainly do. And this, as if this rampant poverty, mass retrenchment, looming credit crisis were not enough. Then we came and we had to face the relaxed labor laws. वो रिलैक्स लेबर लॉस क्या है? एक आपको एक्सप्लॉइट किया जाएगा, आपको निकाला जाएगा, लेकिन आपसे वो लड़ने का हक ले लिया जाएगा. You will not be able to dispute that. You will not be able to go to court. You will have a choice to talk to your trade union or to the employer as per their convenience. But that right is gone from you. So a person who's retrenched at that point, what option does he have? You think he will not ask his family to work to just survive? Or will he allow his children to die in front of his own eyes? When we say marte kya na karte, do we have a choice? It's a crime that we have to commit. And all of us, as citizens, we all watch. And I think somewhere we've gotten used to it. We go to every household or we go to a petrol pump or a dhaba when we are traveling. and we say, "Chotu ye kar do, chotu wo kar do," and we accept it. It's a norm. It's acceptable crime. It's not like an exception for us, which is very unfortunate part, I feel, because this is not something that we should easily take it. It's like dowry law. Dowry aa rahi hai, and people are accepting it unless you complain. Then it becomes a crime. Otherwise, it's taken as a norm. I would definitely want to talk about the looming credit crisis here. What's going to happen here is that the farmer who goes back or a worker who goes back to his village to survive what they do, and the history speaks about it, he's going to take harsh loan from the creditors. And they're predators, I mean, they're going to give you credit, but they are going to ensure that they take your life in return. So in return, what do you have to give? You have to agree to bonded labor. Somewhere you give an implied consent to the exploitation. Are we agreeing to it? Maybe not, but do we have a choice? What chances do we have? Who's helping us out in this? I don't see individuals or the government coming with special packages right now. And I'm not saying it's the government's fault or our fault or anyone's fault, but we are left in a situation where, frankly, the choices are falling short now. But we definitely have to do something. The worst came of shutting of schools. Earlier, as per our laws, children were not supposed to work when the school was on. So that time was completely off for them. Now, this is going to exploit that loophole also. So that choice
Right.
is also gone. And I'll explain you here, there are two sectors in which these labor class works. One is the formal sector, one is the informal sector. So formal sector, we still have issues to address. There are trade unions, there are financial institutions that help. There are inspectors who can come for regular inspections and check whether there is child abuse or child labor happening. But in informal sectors like drivers, maids, the kids who are working in a household. I mean, you go to someone's household in Delhi and you see a young boy who's working there polishing someone's shoes while the kid of the house is watching some TV program or watching a video game. Is that fair? But how these people justify that, we've done an act of humanity because we have helped this child to survive. Otherwise, he wouldn't have survived. But are we trying to say this is the only way to help them out? Can't we otherwise do something for them? Or is it enough for us to just go ahead and say, okay, this is our responsibility and we are not going to do anything beyond that? I don't think it's a fair way of going about it. Sorry, my throat is a little bad. And in rural areas, more importantly, there is lack of employment. And after the retrenchment, all the adults have been asked to go back because why? Their salaries are high, they're skilled laborers. But the substitute, immediate substitute is adolescent and a child who comes at a very low cost. It's a cheap labor,
Hmm.
doesn't have bargaining skills, who doesn't, fight for his rights, and who you can easily dominate. You don't have to really fight your way through. And these people can get easily exploited. And right now, frankly, I am seeing everywhere. I get WhatsApp messages every day or on my phone that this driver has been, retrenched from his job. This maid is not getting a job. And they're all, I mean, maids, especially these nannies, they're 13, 14-year-old girls. Where will they go? Who's supporting them? Which mechanism is coming forward? There is no monitoring happening. Before this, and I'll just tell you, I'll come to that. This exploitation was enough to ruin them completely. Then came a new thing by our all state governments where they relaxed labor laws during COVID times to revive our economy. Now, what it did was, while the exploitation was on, their right to fight for their right was taken away. They had no right to go to court. They had no right to even say that they should not be retrenched. Their issues were not taken seriously. Inspections were suspended. The inspections were only happening if there is a order by the labor commissioner or there is a complaint to that effect. Now you tell me in informal sector, where will you complain? Who will complain? And even in formal sectors where people are getting retrenched and they know that government has relaxed the labor law, even the monitoring agencies or people who are supervising this, these inspectors, they take it very lackadaisically. They will not go to the factories, they will not inspect the industries and check whether a child is actually being employed, especially in hazardous industries. So we have really left ourselves completely in the hand of this pandemic. And unless we take a stand, we are going to be there only. I mean, we will not move on. And we will keep fostering the growth of this child labor. Especially with this promulgation of national lockdown, though an important step to actually curtail the virus, has a negative, has a very negative effect on our Indian economy, which has lowered the growth rate, increased the unemployment rate, have really shrink our consumption expenditure, which obviously means that you will not be able to afford that kind of employees which you are doing. And therefore, the immediate effect is retrenchment, leaving them, putting additional burden on their family. So it gets very difficult when someone asks me, oh, but the government has said that, there is no effect on the child law or women law. How can you isolate the two? Can you say a poor person, I'm taking away everything from this person, his livelihood and everything, but will he starve? The direct consequence of this relaxation is the child will come into the labor market. This is unavoidable. It's going to be silly on our part to believe that. I mean, recently I came through this survey, which was done by Center of Monitoring of Indian Economy, which showed that by May 2020, 12.2 crore Indians are going to be rendered jobless. Now, this figure I'm talking from I'm assuming this is morely from the formal source, and not the informal sector. The informal sector, like our drivers and maids, as I told you, and the nannies and the totus that work in your house or the dhabas or the petrol pumps, they are not counted here because no one really looks at them as someone that we have to speak for. They have no voice. Sometimes you have to take a cumulative step to fight this. If they can't speak, we have to be their voices. We have to stand up for them and say, listen, we need to stop it, because what it's going to do is lead them to a situation where we see rampant, you know, unfortunate killing, I would say, because of this pandemic, not because of the virus, but because of the conditions that are prevailing right now. With nothing coming forth, whether from the government, whether from any other source. I mean, while they are saying, we are helping them, we are giving them food, as human beings, we are also doing it. And thanks to Kushi for helping us in that initiative. I mean, I tried to distribute a lot of foods and my friends did, where Kushi became an instrumental part. But how much can we do? Can we actually reach each and every village? Do we know what they are going through right now? Not really. So we are also relying on the fact that, okay, we'll do what we can do and hope the government will take over. But I think there's time that we all need to stand up and just accept this challenge, you know, and speak for them. They will not be able to speak. We have to get up and take a stand and fight for their right. That is really important in these difficult times when poor households need more physical stimulus and relief. Several state government, when they relax the law, need to really think about the child abuse here, the child labor here, and what the women laborers are going to go through. It's not easy to revive economy by avoiding everything about what's going to happen to a labor force. That's not the way of going forward. You may have your dream of becoming a super economy, but if your roots are very weak, you can't strive. You can't be successful. Even if you reach there, you'll tremble. It's not possible. So you have to move forward by taking everyone together. You can't say, oh, this I'll tackle it later. It will not happen because all this labor force is working for your manufacturing unit. Any order that you get is going to get affected because you don't have labor force. And that's under severe survival issue right now. They're now going to come forth and help you out. So to come out of this pandemic, I would really request all of them to take a joint stand and do something so that we can fight this together. A lot of people asked me, but in fact, my friends asked me when I questioned them about these small children working in their houses. And they said, I would not call this child labor because they're very comfortable. We are giving them food, we are giving them clothing. And look at this pandemic, their parents are requesting us. You're being selfish about it. You don't understand what child labor is. Child labor we call as a work which takes away or deprives a child of his childhood, of his dignity, of his education. It definitely has psychological, physical uh, repercussions. And I'm sure Karishma is going to elaborate on that. And we have to change our mindset to begin with. We have to understand that this cannot be the norm. We have fought slavery earlier. We have fought bonded labor. We can't let it, the same thing to come back again because of one pandemic that hit us. We have to take a stern steps together. And we will definitely come to step. But I think I'm going to give an opportunity to Karishma right now to just elaborate what the kids go through when they are put in this precarious situation.
So,
Right.
yeah, I mean, there are so many things Monica ma'am has said that I think I kind of connect with. So, taking it from the point where what is child labor? Child labor is where the laborious work is depriving the child of his normal childhood. And what is childhood? We know childhood from our own childhood or our child's childhood, how we are providing for them. But what about the children on the streets out there? What about the exploitations like she spoke about? So many different things. So child labor is actually depriving each child of his childhood, which is unfair. And in future, it's only going to spiral into a society of full of mayhem, where there is chaos, there is confusion, uneducated, unaware individuals who are trying to run an economy. And how dangerous is that? That's literally like putting your life into a hands of a pilot who has never taken formal education to fly. That's exactly what we are doing to our youth. So, like you said, Monica, that children are getting frustrated or the whole process is aggravated. It's actually a cycle. The pandemic has actually added one more cycle of issues for children today because initially it was people forcing them to do this. Today, the economy overall has actually stopped the whole process of children having to live a normal childhood. Today, you and I have extreme number of parents complaining about how children are troubling them. But that's normal children who are in normal homes like yours and mine. What about those children whose fathers have lost their jobs? Or like she said, the rural areas where people are going back. So what about those kids? Those kids are forced. And what is normal childhood? When physically, mentally, emotionally, and socially, a child is living in a viable condition where his mind is growing in all four parameters. Where physically the child is actually growing up to be a good individual with nutritious food and with adequate sports facility. What is mental growth? When he is actually at comfort and growing up with learning and cognitive skills are enhanced. What is emotional growth? The most important. That he is able to feel the right emotions at the right time. Where he is getting the emotional power to move forward. And what is your social growth? When he is aware how to be in a society full of people his age and people who are older. All these four parameters are vanishing when we are talking about child labor. So when we come to the point where we start a circle of the pandemic, the first point being the total lockdown. What about people who are living hand to mouth? Their movement was curtailed. From there, it started to the desperation of these employers. They needed people to get away with the work that they were doing in the middle of something. So immediately the hiring happens, where the child labor, which has already been there as a problem, as a chaos for our society, it aggravates to many lengths for the simple reason that the employer needs to get the basic work running. Of course, it is kept clandestine, it's kept surreptitious, where people are not aware. हम लोगों को बताते नहीं है हमारे पास 10 बच्चे एम्ब्रॉयडरी का काम कर रहे हैं या 4 बच्चे मेरे घर पे काम कर रहे हैं या वी विल नॉट लेट एनीबडी नो. जब मैंने लोगों के घरों में बच्चे काम करते हुए देखे, दे सर हमने अपने घर वालों को बोल दिया बाहर भेजने की जरूरत नहीं है बच्चों को वरना पुलिस केस बन जाए. व्हाट आर वी डूइंग? हम अपने बच्चे अपने ग्रोथ के लिए लाइक शी पॉइंटेड आउट करेक्टली व्हाट वी आर डूइंग इज जस्ट सेल्फिश. वी जस्ट वांट टू कवर इट ताकि हमारा काम हो सके. हम और कंफर्ट से और ज्यादा कंफर्ट में चले जाए. बट उस बच्चे का क्या, उसकी परवरिश का क्या और उसके बचपन का क्या? वो चीज जब हम कट कर रहे हैं, उस चीज में जब हम कटौती ला रहे हैं, तो हम एक पूरी सोसाइटी को काट रहे हैं. हम अपनी जड़ ही कमजोर कर रहे हैं. और यही बच्चा कल हमारे घरों में काम करेगा या आज हमारे घरों में काम कर रहा है या हमारी फैक्ट्रीज और ऑफिसेज में काम कर रहा है और उसे वहां पर कोई भी सुविधा सुविधा हम बोलते हैं फॉर प्रिविलेजेस बट कोई भी बेसिक जरूरतें भी नहीं दी जा रही. जो लड़कियां काम कर रही हैं पीरियड्स के समय भी उन्हें कपड़ा दिया जा रहा है. वी डू नॉट वांट टू स्पेंड ऑन देयर सैनिटरी नैपकिंस. We do not want to spend on the children eating nutritious food. We are giving them substandard food. यही प्रॉब्लम चाइल्ड लेबर के साथ शुरू होती है और वहीं से ये साइकिल बचपन की शुरू होती है, क्योंकि बचपन से बड़प्पन तक एक पूरा कर्व हम लेते ही लेते हैं. इट्स ह्यूमन नेचर टू ग्रो फ्रॉम चाइल्डहुड टू एडल्टहुड. बट उस प्रोसेस में अगर हमें पौष्टिकता और सारी जरूरतें ना दी जाए तो हमारा कर्व बिगड़ जाता है. फिर हम जाते हैं दूसरी जगह. आज हमारी RWAs हमें मैसेजेस भेजते हैं, प्लीज बोल्ड की चीजें पहन के बाहर ना निकले. कौन स्नैच कर रहे हैं? जिनको जरूरत है उन्हीं से ये सब हो रहा है और ये गैंग्स बन जाते हैं. अगर आप सिग्नल्स के नीचे देखें, जो चाइल्ड लेबर हम जो नॉर्मल देखते हैं, जो बिना पैंडेमिक के भी दिखता है, छोटे छोटे बच्चे गुब्बारे लेकर बेच रहे हैं रात को 1 बजे और रात को 2 बजे, वो क्यों कर रहे हैं? ये पूरा एक कर्व हमारे अपनी वजह से है. हम किसी एक को नहीं ब्लेम कर सकते, बट द चाइल्ड लेबर इज कॉजिंग द चाइल्ड्स माइंड टू बी एक्चुअली इन्फेक्टेड. एक इन्फेक्शन की तरह ये शुरू होता है बच्चे के मन में. और ये चीज जब फिजिकली शुरू होती है कि बच्चे को जब हम स्कूल भी भेजते हैं तो स्कूल के भी आवर्स ऑफ वर्किंग होते हैं, 7 घंटे 8 घंटे. इससे ज्यादा बच्चों को आप ना कराएं, इससे कम होना चाहिए. ट्यूशन में हमारा बच्चा 1 घंटे से ज्यादा बैठ नहीं सकता. आजकल जूम सेशंस पे बच्चे आधे घंटे से ज्यादा नहीं बैठ पा रहे. बट हम अपने चाइल्ड लेबर जब हम बच्चों को काम कराते हैं, ये बच्चे 12 से 15 घंटे काम करते हैं, कभी कभी बिना खाए बिना पिए बिना बात किए. इनमें से कितने लोगों की ना स्पीच ठीक होती है, ना इनका मानसिक संतुलन ठीक होता है. बट क्या समझ आता है उन्हें? उन्हें सर्वाइवल इंस्टिंक्ट समझ आता है कि मुझे सर्वाइव करना है, क्योंकि मुझे पैसे भेजने अपनी माँ को. और कितनी बारी ये एम्प्लॉयर्स, आई एम श्योर मोनिका वुड बी अग्रीइंग टू दिस, कितनी बारी एम्प्लॉयर्स उन्हें चीट कर जाते, पैसे नहीं भेजते. जो जरूरत के लिए वो बच्चा मेहनत कर रहा है, वो जरूरत भी हम उसकी पूरी नहीं करते और वो बच्चे की फ्रस्ट्रेशन और अग्रेशन बढ़ती जाती है और बढ़ती जाती है. जब ये प्रॉब्लम्स एक सोसाइटी के साथ शुरू होती है तो ये सोसाइटी की जड़ों को कमजोर ही नहीं बिल्कुल खत्म कर रही है. एक दीमक की तरह ये हमारे पेड़ को नष्ट कर रही है. और यहीं पे मानसिक और शारीरिक जो पौष्टिकता एक बच्चे को जरूरत है वो हम प्रोवाइड नहीं कर रहे, पर हम अपने मन को जरूर प्रोवाइड कर रहे हैं कि अगर वो मेरे पास नहीं होता या मेरे पास नहीं होती तो वो डेफिनेटली कहीं भीख मांग रही होती या वो कहीं पे कोई गलत काम में पड़ी होती. मैं उसे प्रोवाइड कर, हम उसके दाता बन जाते. वी वॉन्ट टू बी द गॉड फॉर दैट चाइल्ड. आई एम सॉरी, you are not the god for the child, because the child is not empowered. The child is only surviving, and the child is not getting the correct methodology of growing up. ना हम उसको ये बताते हैं कि भविष्य में तुम क्या कर सकते हो. कितनी बारी ऐसी दीदीज मैंने देखी है जो पढ़ना चाहती है, जो बच्चों के साथ आती हैं, जो पढ़ना चाहती है, पर हम उन्हें क्या बोलते हैं, हम आपके पैसे बढ़ा देंगे, आप प्लीज काम कर लीजिए हमारे साथ. हम उनके मन में लालच डाल रहे हैं. आफ्टर ऑल वी आर टॉकिंग टू चिल्ड्रन. तो जब हम बच्चों से बात कर रहे हैं और बच्चों को हम लालच देंगे, डेफिनेटली वो लालच वो पकड़ेंगे. इससे पूरी जिंदगी और पूरी हमारी जो जड़ है, पूरी नस्ल हम नष्ट कर रहे हैं. एंड चाइल्ड लेबर एक्चुअली फॉर्म्स अ वेरी बिग पार्ट ऑफ आवर सोसाइटी. इस चीज के लिए हमें एज अ सोसाइटी आगे बढ़ना है, जहाँ हम सारे मिलकर, जब हमारे बच्चे को एक तकलीफ होती है तो हम डॉक्टर्स के पास जाते हैं, हमारे रिलेटिव्स हमसे पूछते हैं, हम टीचर से बात करते हैं. व्हाई डू वी से इट टेक्स अ विलेज टू ब्रिंग अप अ चाइल्ड? सो व्हाट अबाउट दोस चिल्ड्रन? इतने सारे लाखों करोड़ों बच्चे हैं जिनके सोसाइटी और विलेज तो छोड़ो, उनके माँ बाप भी उनकी परवरिश में नाकाम रहे हैं फॉर देयर ओन रीजंस प्रोबेबली. बट हमारे बच्चे तो बिल्कुल ही दिशा के अगेंस्ट जा रहे हैं. So I think child labor definitely needs to be brought out, and COVID has rightly brought it out. I would not say everything is negative. The fact that it is there in the society, and as a society, if we can look at it in a more positive way, yeah, this is the time when we can actually build the right framework for a child's growth. I think it would be very beneficiary for our children in the future.
I think it's perfect. I very spoken, Karishma, because this is a time for introspection. I think this has given enough and more opportunity to us to introspect. It has shown us the mirror, as I said, because after this, if we do not change ourselves, it's going to be too late for anything further to hit us.
Right, right. थैंक यू मोनिका एंड करिश्मा, आप लोगों ने बहुत अच्छे से ये कॉन्टेक्स्ट सेट किया है, एंड आई एम रियली ग्लैड कि आप लोगों ने इसको इतना वाइड इसको इलैबोरेट किया है, दैट आई थिंक इसके बहुत सारे इंटरप्रिटेशंस है, और आई एम श्योर कि जिस तरीके के क्वेश्चंस अभी हमारे पास आ रहे हैं, सो आई विल जस्ट रीड आउट टू देम एंड आई वुड रिक्वेस्ट यू टू रिस्पॉन्ड टू दोज क्वेश्चंस. सो मोनिका, एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चन हमारे पास इस वक्त आया है, जिसमें so basically, while relaxing child labor impact while relaxing labor laws is impacting child labor, considering the law has been kept outside the ambit of these relaxations, so how do you see this relaxation happening and its impact on child labor?
No, Akanksha, first we need to understand that child labor is a combined product of many factors like poverty, social norms condoning it, lack of work opportunity for adults and adolescents, migration, emergencies like pandemic. It's not the cause, but somewhere it's a consequence of our social inequalities reinforced by discrimination. The government, with a view to boost the economy by increasing production and attracting foreign direct investment, states like Gujarat, Punjab, Himachal Pradesh, Karnataka, UP have amended the Factories Act. Now, what it's done, instead of 8 hours, you will work for 12 hours. Instead of, weekly, it used to be about 60 hours or 65 hours. Now it's 72 hours. No fresh trade unions to be registered. Ensuring subservience as per the employer's dictates. So whatever the employer says, you will follow it. Why? Because the redressal mechanism has been diluted. So you can't redress. If you have a complaint, you can't go to them. If you have been sacked and suddenly they ask you to leave, you can't question them. You can't fight for your right. Unfortunately, your fundamental rights have been curtailed to a large extent. What it's also done is suspension of inspection. The mechanism which was earlier followed in a lot of industries, and somewhere it's going to have a very adverse effect on children and women. Because पहले child labor check करने के लिए regular inspections की जाती थी. कोई ऐसी इंडस्ट्री में, कोई ऐसी हैजर्डस इंडस्ट्री में कोई बच्चा तो काम नहीं कर रहा या बियॉन्ड सर्टन आवर्स तो काम नहीं कर रहा, पर आज के दिन वो पॉसिबल नहीं है. उसको करने के लिए आपको स्पेशल परमिशन चाहिए कि मुझे इंस्पेक्ट करना है. आपको लेबर कमीशन से परमिशन चाहिए, कोई कंप्लेंट चाहिए. कौन जाके कंप्लेन करेगा? वो इंसान जिसको बहुत जरूरत है पैसे की, तो कंप्लेन नहीं करेगा. या एम्प्लॉयर कंप्लेन करेगा, वो भी नहीं. So that crime is forever hidden because of these relaxations. It will never come forward. इसलिए मुझे बहुत स्ट्रेंज लगता है जब मैं सुनती हूँ कि अरे ये चाइल्ड लॉ और विमेन लॉ को तो इम्पैक्ट नहीं कर रहा, ये गवर्नमेंट की जो रिलैक्सेशन हुई है हमें तो वरी करने की जरूरत नहीं है बिकॉज बच्चों पे इसका कोई इम्पैक्ट नहीं होने वाला. ये पॉसिबल नहीं है. I mean, it's actually fooling ourselves to believe that it's an isolated thing. Factory owners will be able to change shift as per their own convenience to increase production. They don't care about your welfare anymore because even those laws have been diluted. Nothing is going to be possible which earlier, laborers used to get together and say, we'll fight for our right. This is our right. अब वो सब चीजें हट चुकी है. आज जब किसी की नौकरी जाती है तो वो लड़ता नहीं है, वो अपनी फैमिली के पास वापस जाके अपने बच्चों को बोलता है बेटा काम करना शुरू कर दो, बिकॉज इसी वजह से हम अपने आप को इस पैंडेमिक से लड़ पाएंगे, या हमें खाना मिल पाएगा, या हम किसी तरह सर्वाइव कर पाएंगे. Without that, I think it's practically impossible. So how can we even assume that it's not going to affect children? आप देखिए पैंडेमिक के टाइम अभी recently you check the survey and you check the data, how many children have come to labor markets and informal market, जहाँ पे उनका ध्यान नहीं रखा जाता. Like Krishna said, उनके खाने के बारे में उनको सिर्फ, I mean there are situations that I was reading recently that कई लोग जो ढाबे में काम करते हैं जिनको हम छोटू करके बुलाते हैं, हम भी जब हम ढाबे में जाके हम अपने सामने देखते हैं, एंड पैंडेमिक के टाइम तो बेचारे 2,000, 1,000, 500 रुपए पे काम करने के लिए तैयार है, क्योंकि उनको अपने भाई बहनों को खाना देना है, अपने माँ बाप के लिए, अपने दादा दादी जिनके भी साथ रहते हैं उनकी सिक्योरिटी चाहिए, तो वो कुछ भी एक्सेप्ट करते हैं. इसलिए इस रिलैक्सेशन ने हमें सिर्फ एक्सप्लॉइट करने का उनको एक जरिया दे दिया है. एम्प्लॉयर्स को।
Absolutely.
एंड आई थिंक गवर्नमेंट को कहीं ना कहीं इस बारे में सोचना चाहिए था जब वो रिलैक्सेशन लाए कि इसको संभाला कैसे जाएगा। I'm also surprised at one thing, that the International Labour Organization expressed deep anguish at this move because it violates the Convention 144. ये कन्वेंशन है जहां पे बोला गया है कि कोई भी लेबर लॉ में जब आपको चेंज लाना है इस तरीके का, जहां पे आप लोगों के राइट्स कॉम्प्रोमाइज करेंगे, जहां पे आप उसको रिड्रेसल नहीं दिया जाएगा इमीडिएटली, तो आप एक ट्राइपार्टाइट कंसल्टेशन करेंगे। जो कंसल्टेशन का तरीका होता है कि वर्कर, एम्प्लॉयर और गवर्नमेंट साथ में बैठ के डिसाइड करती है कि वेदर दिस इज पॉसिबल और नॉट। बट ऐसा नहीं हो रहा है। अगर आप उत्तर प्रदेश, मध्य प्रदेश या गुजरात में देखिए, द रिलैक्सेशन ऑफ लेबर लॉज has deregulated factories from the purview of labor laws. This will only intensify informality and precarious nature of labor employment and its condition in several ways, and will definitely dilute the existing enforcement mechanism, which I mean by inspection and keeping a surveillance on the child labor. You know, I think it's a practice when we say कि government ने बोला है, अच्छा जैसे पहले लॉकडाउन हुआ था, बहुत स्ट्रिक्ट लॉकडाउन था, उस टाइम पे बाहर नहीं निकलता था। Then second phase आया, third phase आया, लोग बाहर जाना शुरू हुए, वो रिलैक्स होना शुरू हुए, चलो गवर्नमेंट इतनी स्ट्रिक्ट नहीं है। सेम प्रिंसिपल गोज हियर। कोई इंस्पेक्शन नहीं करेगा, कोई चाइल्ड लेबर के लिए सामने नहीं आएगा, बिकॉज उनको पता है गवर्नमेंट ने आज के दिन लेबर लॉ को रिलैक्स कर दिया है। इट्स अ परसेप्शन दैट वर्क्स, एंड समटाइम्स परसेप्शन इज स्ट्रॉन्गर देन ट्रूथ। You know, people will believe, okay, this is how it's supposed to work. अभी हमें अपनी इकोनॉमी रिवाइव करनी है, बट इकोनॉमी का पार्ट हमारा लेबर फोर्स भी है। हम क्यों भूल जाते हैं? उनके बिना हम आगे नहीं जा पाएंगे, और जाएंगे भी तो शायद बहुत देर तक उसको संभाल नहीं पाएंगे, बिकॉज जो प्रोडक्शन होनी है, जो मैन्युफैक्चरिंग होनी है, वो यहीं से आनी है। आई डोंट नो, ये
Right.
तरीके हम क्यों भूल जाते हैं, क्यों ऐसा भूल जाते हैं कि ये हमारे लिए इतना सिग्निफिकेंट नहीं है। अगर आप देखें, अभी दिस इज नॉट टू डू विद पैंडेमिक, I remember there was this law, 2016 का जो अमेंडमेंट आया था, चाइल्ड एंड एडोलेसेंट चाइल्ड लेबर प्रोहिबिशन एंड रेगुलेशन एक्ट का जो अमेंडमेंट आया था, वहां पे हैजर्डस इंडस्ट्रीज को 82 से सीधा 38 पे ले गए। Why? आई थिंक इसको तो ज्यादा आपको ध्यान से सोचना चाहिए था। जहां पे बच्चों की सेहत का सवाल है, आप उस इंडस्ट्री को इतना श्रिंक क्यों कर रहे हैं? क्या ये इम्पोर्टेंट नहीं है हमारे लिए? ये तो पैंडेमिक आने के बाद आप रिलैक्स करें। आप शुरू से जो काम कर रहे हैं, वो आई थिंक मेरी नजर में स्पेशली बच्चों के लिए बहुत जरूरी, आई मीन बहुत ही हार्मफुल है। ये हमको सोचना चाहिए 10 बार करने से पहले कि हम अपने बच्चे को, अपना नहीं तो क्या हुआ, एक बच्चा तो है, हमारे देश का बच्चा हमारा फ्यूचर है, अगर हम उसको ऐसी हैजरस इंडस्ट्री में लाके खड़ा कर देंगे, स्पेशली इन टुडेज टाइम जहाँ पे इंस्पेक्शन पॉसिबल नहीं है, तो कहाँ तक सर्वाइव कर पाएगा? और कल के दिन से प्रॉब्लम हुई तो आपने वेलफेयर जो रूल्स थे उसको तो रिलैक्स कर दिए। तो हम कहाँ, किस लॉजिक पे बात कर रहे हैं, मुझे समझ नहीं आ रहा कि क्यों हम ये इवन क्वेश्चन अपने आप को जस्टिफाई करते हैं कि नहीं नहीं, बच्चों पे इसका असर नहीं होगा।
Right.
According to me, they'll only exploit the labor law legislation, especially child labor. Thank you.
Right. Thank you so much, Monica, for highlighting this. You know, I think it's a one very important question which has come, and I think I would request Karishma to answer this. एक
Sure.
important question है कि जैसे paying a child labor, is it justified, or what is the better way to address the issue and working around and providing them privileges? So I think it's important कि हम कुछ solutions के बारे में भी बात करें. So
So
if you
the
could
first thing,
elaborate.
yeah. So when you talk about paying a child for his labor work or his labor hours is justified, but when we talk about the reality right now is that they are not even getting the bare basics. But
Right.
the question further is, how do we, is that right? If I've understood that, how can we provide it in a better way to them? Right? That's
Right.
what the question
Right.
is. So when I'm asking the employer to pay my child or pay the children who are doing the labor work for them, I think it's also extremely important for the employer to understand the needs of his employees. Today if you talk about big companies or even small companies, a lot of leverage and a lot of thought goes into keeping those employees as employees for yourself, and therefore you work towards their welfare. Today, if you don't talk about children as laborers, if you talk about normal employees, we always make sure as big organizations and companies that to keep our children or keep our employees happy with us, we need to show them that we care for them. In a very similar way, why can't employees or employers actually think about children whom they are putting into labor? That why can't we actually think about their welfare? Is monetary the only way of surviving or keeping these children in your industries? Because I think, like Monica said, the inspection part of it, where the inspection is stopped. Even though I'm not very aware of the legal system, but how about having the inspection being a regular feature for the industries, surprise checks, so that these employers are also having to maintain what all provisions have they provided for the child, how many hours the child is there. Of course, आई एम श्योर द कैमोफ्लाज इज ऑलवेज देयर. हम हमेशा अपने आप को बचाना जानते हैं. जैसे दिल्ली में तो हम स्पेशली कहते हैं द वर्ड जुगाड़. हमारे पास हर चीज का जुगाड़ है, तो हम इस लॉ के अगेंस्ट भी चले जाएंगे. बट एज अ ह्यूमन बीइंग एंड एज एन एडल्ट, हम अगर ये सोचे कि हम इस बच्चे की परवरिश में किस तरह से थोड़ा सा अपना योगदान डाल सकते हैं. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, एक बच्चा एम्ब्रॉयडरी कर रहा है. बहुत सारी ऐसी फैक्ट्रीज है जो मैं जानती हूँ जहाँ बार बार चाइल्ड लेबर के लिए, बच्चों के लिए उस एम्प्लॉयर को पकड़ा जाता है कि तुम ये चीज बंद करें. पर वो कहीं ना कहीं से कोई ना कोई उनके एजेंट्स होते हैं, वो फिर बच्चे लेके आते हैं, क्योंकि बच्चे बहुत बारीकी से काम करते हैं शायद. एंड व्हेन दैट इज हैपनिंग, व्हाट इज हैपनिंग टू दैट चाइल्ड इज वो 12 से 13 घंटे उस काम को लगातार कर रहा है, और उसे खाना दिया जाता है बाहर उस ढाबे का, जो शायद इतना साफ सुथरा नहीं है. और अब जब ये पैंडेमिक आया, उन्होंने बच्चों को बस बाहर हटा दिया और कहा तुम बेटा अपने घर चले जाओ. कितने दिनों तक वो बच्चे एक्चुअली वहां स्टेशन पे खड़े रहे कि शायद आज बस चलेगी हमारे घर. So paying them is not the only solution. Providing for them, opening their bank accounts. जैसे हमारी गवर्नमेंट ने इस बारी किया था कि आप अपना अकाउंट किसी भी आईडी प्रूफ से खोल सकते हैं, बट हम एज एम्प्लॉयर्स क्या करते हैं, उस चीज को भी किसी तरह से काट लेते हैं कि नहीं करना है. बट बच्चों को अगर हम उनका अकाउंट देंगे, जब हम उन्हें ये चीजों की समझ देंगे कि आप ये भी कर सकते हो, आप ये भी कर सकते हो, आपको मैं नाइट स्कूल में एनरोल कर दूं. ऐसे बहुत लोग मैं ये भी जानती हूँ जो अपने घरों में अगर बच्चों को लाते हैं तो वो नेचुरली उनको पढ़ाते भी हैं. That is, I would say, provisional. That is not privilege, but that is actually going around and saying that I am providing for this child. I am not providing food. आप फूड या पैसे देके उस पर एहसान नहीं कर रहे, आपको उसको पढ़ाना है, उसे उसके बेसिक्स देने हैं. और उसके बेसिक्स ये है, जब वो बीमार हो तो उसे सिर्फ अपने आप को डॉक्टर बन के डॉक्टरी नहीं करनी, बट उसे एक्चुअली डॉक्टर के पास ले जाना है. बट कितनी बारी ऐसे एम्प्लॉयर्स भी हैं जो उसे डॉक्टर पे नहीं लेके जाते क्योंकि उन्हें ये डर है हम पकड़े जाएंगे. तो वो क्या करते हैं, डॉक्टर से पूछ के दवाइयां दे देते. इसमें क्या होता है, वो बच्चा जिसको बेसिक जरूरत है, जिसे बेसिक समझ की जरूरत है, जिसे बेसिक अक्लमंदी देने की जरूरत है कि बच्चे ये जरूरत है, ये आपको करना है. जब एक डॉक्टर एक घाव को देखेगा या एक डॉक्टर एक मुसीबत में आपकी मदद करेगा, वो एक करेक्ट तरीका है. जब हमारे अपनों को कोई तकलीफ आती है तो हम इमीडिएटली वी आर रनिंग टू द बेस्ट डॉक्टर्स ऑफ द कंट्री, फॉरगेट कंट्री, टू द वर्ल्ड ऑल्सो. बट जब इन बच्चों में ये तकलीफें आती हैं तो हम क्यों पीछे हट जाए? क्योंकि हमें ये लगता है कि हमें इनकी जरूरत नहीं है, हम इन पर एहसान करें. यहाँ एक सोच की प्रॉब्लम है, जो ये हमारी सोच है कि हम उन पे एहसान करें क्योंकि हम उनके अन्नदाता बने. हम ये नहीं देख रहे उनके बलबूते पे हम अपनी इंडस्ट्रीज चला रहे. एंड लाइक मोनिका सेड, ये बहुत दूर तक तो वैसे भी नहीं चल सकते, क्योंकि इवेंचुअली हर बच्चे में भी उतनी समझ आती है. आज अगर आप इन बच्चों को देखें, जब चाइल्ड लेबर में ये आते हैं, इनकी समझ आपकी मेरी समझ से 10 गुना आगे होती है. और तब ये लोग सोचते हैं क्विक मनी कैसे कमाया जाए, क्योंकि इन्हें इतना एक्सप्लॉइट किया जाता है. इन साइकोलॉजी भी से अ बुली इज नॉट अ बुली he only becomes a bully when he is victimized for a very long time. अगर आज हम अपनी इस नस्ल को इतना दबाएंगे तो ये ऑटोमेटिकली हमारे पे वापस आएगी। ये हम नहीं सोच रहे क्योंकि हम शॉर्ट टर्म सोच रहे हैं। हम आज अपने बच्चों को स्कूल नहीं भेज पा रहे तो हम ये सोचते हैं, कहीं ना कहीं एज अ पेरेंट मैंने सोचा है कि मेरे बच्चे का एनवायरनमेंट मैंने लिया क्योंकि मैंने अच्छे से अर्थ की ध्यान नहीं रखा, हमने अपनी एनवायरनमेंट का ध्यान नहीं रखा। उसी तरह से अगर हम इन बच्चों को ध्यान नहीं देंगे तो ये वापस पलट कर आएंगे। इट्स अ साइकिल। और अगर हम सिर्फ सोचते हैं कि हम एक बच्चे को 10 घंटे काम करने के लिए 200 रुपए दे या 300 रुपए दे या 500 रुपए दे, वो सहूलियत है और वो हमने बहुत बड़ा योगदान किया है, तो यही हमें अपनी सोच बदलनी। हम उन्हें बहुत चीजें प्रोवाइड कर सकते हैं। जैसे एक सोच है, हर स्कूल में आजकल गवर्नमेंट ने मैंडेटरी किया है ऑल ओवर द वर्ल्ड दैट यू हैव टू हैव अ काउंसलर फॉर दोज चिल्ड्रन, because any child needing help can reach out to that counselor. तो ये छोटी छोटी चीजें हम अपने इंस्टीट्यूशंस और ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस में क्यों नहीं ला सकते कि हमारे एम्प्लॉइज को अगर जरूरत हो तो वो अपनी मानसिक जरूरतों के लिए किसी के पास जा सके, किसी से बात कर सके, सो दैट इट्स इजी। हमारे एम्प्लॉयर्स हमें क्या बोलते हैं, बेटा अगली बार आपको प्रॉब्लम हो आप मेरे पास आना, मैं सब साफ कर दूंगा, सब ठीक कर दूंगा। बट वो ठीक नहीं होती क्योंकि जब तक मैं एम्प्लॉयर बन के उस बच्चे को देखूंगा मेरी सोच वैसे भी वैसी रहेगी, वो चेंज हो ही नहीं सकती। बट जब मैं एक इंसान बन के एक छोटे बच्चे को देखूंगी तब मेरी सोच शायद बदल जाए कि इसको इस समय इस चीज की जरूरत है। हमें उन्हें मोटिवेशन देना, काम लेने में तकलीफ नहीं है, बट उस काम की भरपाई अगर मैं पूरी तरह से ना कर पाऊँ तो एज एन एम्प्लॉयर मैं पीछे हट रही हूँ। So I think
Right.
provisions, not privileges, but provisions to be provided with paying them, of course, adequately, but opening bank accounts and giving them certain basics as amenities is something that is rightfully every child and every human being's basic human right in an organization. So I think
Absolutely.
that's how it would be working. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Karishma, for elaborating the situation. And I'm sure that one is, of course, that we have laws and everything, but I think it's very important to work at the humane level, and people have to treat these children as human beings. So I think this is
Yes.
very important, and thank you for highlighting it. I would like to take this opportunity to ask Monica to elaborate on the existing labor law in India and the regulation mechanism, so that we all understand that in case if we want to help a child, in case we want to help a company to actually maybe take such initiatives, so where they can reach out to, how they can start. So Monica, अगर आप थोड़ा सा इस पर elaborate करें तो it will be really beneficial for all of us to understand. Thank you.
Akanksha, we have a law since 1986 which is called the Child Labor Prohibition and Regulation Act. But उस टाइम वो एक्ट में बच्चों पे पूरा बैन नहीं लगाया गया था काम के लिए, बिकॉज आई थिंक समवेयर गवर्नमेंट वाज ट्राइंग टू बैलेंस, बिकॉज वो भी जानती थी इतनी गरीबी में अगर सब बच्चे घर बैठ के पढ़ाई करेंगे तो उनके लिए सर्वाइवल बहुत मुश्किल होगा with whatever earnings they have. तो उनको ऐसी कई इंडस्ट्रीज दी गई थी जहाँ पे वो काम कर सकते थे, पर उसको रेगुलराइज कर दिया गया था। ना रेगुलराइज का मैकेनिज्म था कि 3 घंटे काम कर सकते हैं, फिर 1 घंटे का ब्रेक चाहिए, फिर अगर करना है तो 3 घंटे करेंगे, तो टोटल 6 घंटे से ज्यादा काम नहीं हो सकता था। उसमें भी वो 1 घंटा जो ब्रेक मिलता है उसका दिया जाता था। However, after that, now we are more concerned about the amendment that came in 2016, which completely banned the child labor. जो 14 साल से कम का बच्चा है वो काम नहीं कर सकता एक्सेप्ट 2 जगह, या तो फैमिली बिजनेस में या अगर कोई चाइल्ड आर्टिस्ट है, बट विद इन दोज रेगुलेशंस, द रेगुलेशंस आई एम गोइंग टू कम टू लेटर। सो उन 2 रेगुलेशंस को अगर आप फॉलो करते हैं जो भी एक्ट में दी गई है, तो आप इन 2 सिचुएशन में काम कर सकते हैं। एक और चेंज लाया गया जो पहले वाले एक्ट में नहीं था, एकदम बाहर रखा गया था, अडोलेसेंट। सो 14 से 18 साल की जो बच्चा था वो 1986 एक्ट में नहीं था, उसको चाइल्ड नहीं माना गया था। बट 2016 में आई थिंक इट्स अ वेरी वेलकमिंग मूव कि एडोलेसेंट को इसमें ऐड किया गया. नाउ with adding adolescent, there also came more risk because कई इंडस्ट्रीज जो मैंने पहले भी मेंशन किया था, हैजर्डस इंडस्ट्रीज पहले जो मेंशन थी, उस लिस्ट को काफी छोटा कर दिया गया. So मेरे हिसाब से वो थोड़ा रिस्क भी हो जाता है because कई इंडस्ट्री which I as per the Environment Act is still under hazardous, they are allowed to work there. But of course, there are regulations in place. There are various provisions that are safeguarding their interest. I'm not saying they are not. मैं आपको थोड़ा सा एक्सप्लेन करूंगी. प्रोहिबिटरी एक अलग अलग फ्रैगमेंट में एक होते हैं प्रोहिबिटरी सेक्शन, जो है सेक्शन 3 के हिसाब से लिखा गया है, no child shall be employed or permitted to work in any occupation or process. Nothing in subsections shall apply to any child who helps his family or family enterprise, which is other than any hazardous occupation or process set forth in schedule. By this, they mean they have a schedule, in which they've specified the industries and processes जहाँ पे वो बच्चे काम कर सकते हैं, especially 14 से 18 साल वाले, because 14 साल से कम वाले, तो I told you that could only be two situations. One child artist, one is a family. Then came section 3A, which was added, which permitted adolescents to come in. But it also put in a restriction that no adolescent shall be employed or permitted to work in any hazardous occupation or process set forth in the schedule, provided the central government may by notification specify the nature of non-hazardous work to which the adolescent may be permitted to work and act under the guidelines, whatever guidelines that they're going to be specified. My only request would be, जो हमने लिस्ट को इतना स्लैश कर दिया है from suddenly 83 to 38, I would request the government to reconsider for the welfare and health of such children, because 14 साल से ऊपर का बच्चा between 18 साल is not that grown up, is not even a proper youth, I would say. They need proper nourishment, they need proper care, they need to stay away from any kind of hazardous material, they should not be exposed. Then comes the regulation and working condition of children. Like I said, hours of work. तो कोई भी बच्चा 7 PM to 8 AM के बीच में काम नहीं कर सकता. फुल टाइम जो उनका है वो उनको फ्री टाइम दिया जाता है पढ़ने के लिए. उस दौरान कोई भी एम्प्लॉयर उस बच्चे को काम पे नहीं बुला सकता. Now there is a catch in this, like you asked me last question, that रिलैक्सेशन की वजह से या पैंडेमिक की वजह से चाइल्ड इशू कुछ बनेगा या चाइल्ड लेबर पे इश्यूज आएंगे. यस, दिस इज द बिगेस्ट लूप होल दैट द एम्प्लॉयर्स और द प्रेडेटर्स विल एक्सप्लॉइट, बिकॉज आज बच्चा स्कूल नहीं जा रहा. सो वो जो लीगल प्रोविजन है वो कहीं ना कहीं डाइल्यूट. तो जो एम्प्लॉयर्स इन बच्चों को हायर करते हैं बिकॉज ये सस्ते आते हैं, ये बार्गेन नहीं करते, ये इनको स्कूल आज में भी काम कराएंगे. My fear is beyond the point, if they work under this situation and they continue to do that and start supporting their family, they'll never go back to education. And we have to be very, very careful. We don't want them to go back to the same situation. इससे हमने बहुत मुश्किल से निकाला है इनको बाहर. हमने वापस इंश्योर किया है कि हर स्कूल में 25% EWS कैटेगरी को दिया जाए, ताकि हर बच्चे को पढ़ने का एक मौका दिया जाए. Then we come off weekly holidays, which again gets now slightly diluted. So हर एम्प्लॉयर वीक में बच्चों को एक हॉलिडे देगा और वो हॉलिडे के बारे में कोई भी ऐसी कॉन्स्टिट्यूस जगह पे जाके नोटिस लगाएगा और वो हॉलिडे का दिन 3 महीने से पहले चेंज नहीं होगा, ताकि उस बच्चे को पता हो कि हाँ, हर हफ्ते मेरे को एक छुट्टी मिलेगी और मुझे ये मेरा हक है. एटलीस्ट उसको जानने का हक है इस बात. Then comes notice to the inspector. जब भी कोई एस्टैब्लिशमेंट अंडर द एक्ट या कोई भी इंडस्ट्री जब किसी बच्चे को हायर करती है, they have to send a notice to the inspector within whose local limit the establishment is situated by the employer or such establishment if he employs the child by is employed in any such establishment in which the child is employed or permitted to work. The notice must be sent in writing, जिसमें establishment का पूरा address होना चाहिए, चाइल्ड की पूरी डिटेल होनी चाहिए। चाइल्ड का एज प्रूफ बहुत जरूरी है कि चाइल्ड का एज प्रूफ जब तक नहीं होगा तब तक उसको वैलिड नहीं माना जाएगा ना। कई बार ऐसा आता है, डिस्प्यूट आता है एज पे, where the child says, and I'll tell you a personal incident. हमारे नीचे around about 6 months back there was a child who according to me was hardly 10-year-old or maybe 11-year-old. You know, he came and approached me and he said, you know, my mother works here, but I also want to work. And I said, you can't work because you're 10 years old. I mean, 10 or 12 years old. So he says, नहीं नहीं मैम, मैं 18 साल का हूँ. I said, possible nahi hai. I did not believe. In any case, I didn't pay much attention, and I told his mother also that please आप अपने बच्चे को पढ़ाने के लिए encourage करो. ये time काम पे लगने का नहीं है. आप manage कर सकते हैं अभी. In any case, that boy came with a Aadhaar card और वोटर ID कार्ड जिसपे उसने मुझे अपनी एज प्रूफ दिखाया, which is very surprising because कहीं ना कहीं हमारी मशीनरी कॉम्प्रोमाइज हो रही है जहाँ पे फेक कार्ड्स बने जा रहे हैं और हमारा फेलियर ये है कि हम इन एजेंसीज को पकड़ नहीं पा रहे हैं बिकॉज इस बेसिस पे वो किसी भी घर में जाके कार्ड दिखाते हैं और काम करना शुरू कर देते हैं और एम्प्लॉयर की बिगेस्ट डिफेंस होता है कि अरे इसने तो हमें कार्ड दिखा दिया, जो कि साफ दिखाई देता है, बच्चा छोटा है, पर जहाँ पे प्रूफ आ जाता है इट बिकम्स अ इजी डिफेंस फॉर देम टू गेट आउट ऑफ कोर्ट केस और एनी पुलिस इंक्वायरी। तो बोल देंगे भाई इन्होंने हमें कार्ड दिखाया ना, इट बिकम्स a dispute between the child and that agency which issued it or between the parents. They keep fighting amongst themselves and the employer goes scot free. So it's very important जब भी ऐसा कोई dispute आता है जिसमें child का age dispute में आती है, आप medical authority को inform करें, उनका opinion लें in the absence of age certificate. That's the most important thing. हर एम्प्लॉयर को एक रजिस्टर मेंटेन करना बहुत जरूरी है, जिस रजिस्टर में आपको पूरी डिटेल्स देनी होती है, जो मैंने अभी इन्फॉर्म किया, जो इंस्पेक्टर को डिटेल जाती है उस डिटेल में आपको वो डिटेल आपको रजिस्टर में भी लिखनी होती है, जिसमें आपको आवर्स ऑफ वर्क भी लिखना होगा, किस टाइम वो आता है, किस टाइम वो जाता है, कितनी छुट्टी उसको मिलती है, कौन से दिन छुट्टी मिलती है, जिससे हमें पता लगेगा कि whether the regulations have been followed, whatever that have been written in the act. Then comes the provision of punishment. कोई भी एम्प्लॉयर जो ऐसे बच्चे को एम्प्लॉय करता है जो परमिटेड सेक्टर नहीं है या इंडस्ट्री नहीं है, उसको 6 महीने से 2 साल की सजा हो सकती है और जिसका फाइन भी 20,000 से 50,000 हो सकता है। अगर कोई एडोलेसेंट को भी कोई हैजर्डस इंडस्ट्री में डालता है, सिमिलर punishment will be applicable to that employer itself. There's a very important point that I want to raise. जो भी पैसा इससे इकट्ठा होता है जो फाइन से, वो एक्चुअली रिहैबिलिटेशन फंड में जाता है बच्चों के। जो बच्चे इस एक्सप्लॉइटेशन को सफर करते हैं वो फंड उनको रिवाइव करने में मदद करता है। इनफैक्ट गवर्नमेंट ऑल्सो आफ्टर कन्विक्शन, गवर्नमेंट ऑल्सो 15,000 रुपए उस बच्चे को देती है सो दैट बच्चे का किसी तरह फ्यूचर सिक्योर हो सके, उसकी बिगिनिंग कहीं से हो सके। And then I think law is that, of course, constitution जो है हमारा, वो भी हमें शुरू से इस चीज के लिए प्रोटेक्ट करता है। They have always condemned against the child abuse, against child working below 14 years of age. If you see, there was 86th amendment which was passed, which specially took care of right to education, because somewhere in our constitution it is a fundamental right that बच्चे को पढ़ाना बहुत जरूरी है and therefore काम करना उनका काम नहीं है। But still अगर कहीं sectors में उनको allow किया है तो please make sure that within those parameters, within those regulations किया जाए। After explaining you about the act and law, I also want to bring forth one important search that I was checking. This details regarding the FIR, how many FIRs have been registered in the child labor cases. Recently, in 2019, the central government written a reply in the parliament which revealed that 10,826 cases of child labor violation have been reported in past 4 years. Only 56%, that's about 6,032, went to the stage of prosecution. And later it came out only 25 were actually, reached the final stage, where the FIR was registered. Now you can understand, despite there being law, कितना implement हो रहा है और क्यों नहीं implement हो रहा है, इसका reason बहुत clear है, because 90% of our labor, as I explained, is in the informal sector. जब तक वहां पे उस एरिया को केटर नहीं किया जाएगा ठीक से, वहां इंश्योर नहीं किया जाएगा, बिकॉज वहां जाके इंस्पेक्टर किसी घर पे इंस्पेक्टर जाके नहीं देखता, अरे यहाँ कौन सा बच्चा काम कर रहा है, या छोटी सी फैक्ट्री कहीं चल रही है और इंस्पेक्टर को पता नहीं, बिकॉज नॉर्मली फैक्ट्री को रजिस्टर करना पड़ता है, पर जहाँ छोटी छोटी इनफॉर्मल फैक्ट्रीज चल रही है, वहां जो बच्चे काम कर रहे हैं, लाइक करिश्मा ऑल्सो सेड, 10-12 बच्चे वहां काम कर रहे हैं, कोई कार्पेट बना रहा है, कोई बना रहा है, उनकी नॉलेज इंस्पेक्टर को नहीं है, therefore वो उसके एम्बिट में ही नहीं आती है, इसलिए रिपोर्टिंग नहीं होती है, कंप्लेंट्स नहीं आती है। तो समवेयर वी हैव टू बी प्रोएक्टिव, जहां पे भी हमें ऐसा बच्चा दिखे जो हमें लगता है कि वो अंडर एज है, हमें इमीडिएटली कंप्लेन करनी चाहिए, वी शुड इन्फॉर्म immediately without wasting any further time, because otherwise somewhere we are also responsible, we are allowing that child to suffer this exploitation. If we don't take if we don't take a stand, we have no right to blame it on law or the government or anyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Monica, for highlighting the current situation and the laws. Before we, conclude the session, there's one very important question which has come for Karishma. If domestic abuse is also included in child labor, what is it that as a society we can do for it? And also, if you can just spend like a few minutes on also elaborating the mental health, how it is going to impact the mental health.
Sure.
So, sorry, I've clubbed two questions together.
No
So,
problem.
if you
So
thank you.
the first thing that I'd like to address is the mental health, where just 1 second.
Sure.
Just 1 second. Okay. So the first thing that I'd like to answer is about the mental health, where I feel that mental health is a very big issue for a lot of children span the world right now. And child labor or children who are, executing laborious work at the hands of different and difficult employers are not spared at all. Mental health over here is deteriorating because these children are working not only with their physical energy levels, but mentally they are being marred and their mental image of themselves is tarnished, because of which these children are resorting to a lot of crimes, and crime rates related to children has really risen, which is duly linked with their mental health or mental well-being, because children at their adolescent age or at a young age feel that it's very okay to get quick results. So mental health over here plays a very balanced and a very it's a very a big key factor, because children are feeling that they need to connect and they need to get easy money out of their employers, so they resort to various ways. So mental
Hmm.
health is not only affected internally, but now it started showing out to the society, where the crime rate has increased so much that the mental health really needs to be taken cognizance of, and now is the time where we can actually do this. And like Monica just pointed out about the various laws in India, I just thought that why can't we as employers simply just have a change of mind, where we actually just put the children to being in the human factor, like you previously said, Akansha, where mentally these children will be more secure. The child is affected most when he feels emotionally unsafe in the environment, whether it's a home, whether it's an organization, or whether it's walking on the street. If the child emotionally does not feel safe and secure, the probability of the child going haywire in any parameter is very, very high, hence leading to mental health issues and disorders of various kinds and degrees. So mental
True.
health for a child is very, very important, and more so for children who are at the hands of labor, these labor organizations or these employers in the big organizations. Coming back to the domestic abuse and the domestic violence that we talked about. So, domestic violence a few days back, Monica and I were discussing, has increased from year to year. It's gone to the next level, and children are not spared in this, and more so if they are domestic helpers, because domestic helpers are not only physically and mentally abused or tortured, but there is the sexual angle to it, which is of course very very dangerous for these children, because the desperation of us all adults, if we for once try to segregate children from us, the desperation of every human being right now who's present in this globe is very very high, where they are unable to work, they are unable to meet certain ends of theirs, and economically feel pressurized. It's automatically trickling down to the people who are working for you, and that's where the crux is. So domestic abuse has become an extremely highlighted part, which is actually under the carpet, and this is the reason why it needs to be brought out, where we have random checks in homes on the employers and their employees. If things like these could be more regularized by our government, I think it would really help a lot of children get their basic right of childhood. So domestic violence has increased many, many folds. And the irony or the saddest part of the situation is that our children are totally unaware of their own rights and what all they are capable of, unless they are instigated by some people who are not rightly using it, but they want to malign or tarnish somebody else. So we only make a child aware for our own personal gain, which is absolutely unfair. As a child, he has to know. When we get married, also, I'm sure there are laws and there are certain understandings that a parent puts into a child, whether a man or a woman, that this is what you can do and this is what you cannot do. Then why not a child who's coming to work for you? Why am I not eligibly telling him that bache, you can do this, or you are eligible for this and we can work on this? Because children in homes are equally unsafe. We talk about predators. Well, there are predators sitting in houses like yours and mine, and we are not aware, because children are so vulnerable, and we as adults are taking full advantage of their vulnerability. So, not giving them their right of mental health and well being, we're actually scarring them in their mental zone by doing things which they are not only imagining or not aware of, but also things that are absolutely impressioning their minds to create future criminals for us. That if it can happen
Right.
to me, it's okay if it's happening to somebody else. Pain instigates violence, pain instigates crime. And this is what we as a society need to take into consideration. We need happy homes, happy environments for our children, and not, aggravated, aggressive, frustrated children at the hands of mean and personal gained employers. So, yeah.
Right. Thank you for elaborating this and highlighting it. So I would now request Monica to summarize this session, and in case if you want to highlight on a few way forward, or please feel free to add. Thank you.
I think we all have to make a cumulative effort to how to overcome this child labor. I think it's not something, it's a societal evil. We all have to fight together. It can't be in isolation of the other. So the first step is that we need to be proactive. We see any child going through this, we immediately inform, we complain, and try and rehabilitate the child. We start microfinancing, especially during pandemic. You know, the villagers who are going back, people who are not getting salaries, they should be given micro credits so that at least they don't have to starve for hunger. I mean, for food. People are actually dying. I mean, there's so many cases that during this migrant walking, we saw I just heard recently, and I couldn't bear the sight of it. A woman who delivered a child in the railway station, a mother
Yeah.
who died, and a 2-year-old child was sitting right there. I mean, this is the kind of thing that we are seeing. If not now, I don't think we'll be left in any other situation but to, I mean, I don't know how our conscience is going to allow this. I think with every possible day, we are seeing new things, new happenings. And I get calls from various sources that, this child is suffering like this, that child is suffering this. I mean, there's so many NGOs who are working towards it. If we don't take a cumulative stand, I don't think we'll be able to overcome this evil. We have to ensure, we have to create funds, we have to maybe give representation to our government so that they start a new thing to help these people at least, at least survive during this pandemic. I'm not saying make them self-sufficient, maybe it's not possible, but at least allow them to sail through. Otherwise they will not be able to manage without the government's help, without a joint initiative by all of us, without us voicing our concerns on their behalf. you know, I don't think it's going to be possible. We also do need to realize that education is not going to take a back seat, especially for these children. So we have to ensure that when we start providing them with fund, some help, their education needs to come back. With lot of difficulty, as I explained last time, we got these children back to school. It was years of effort. We can't let it go waste now just because of this pandemic. And we need definitely our government's intervention right now. Ministry of Women and Child have to take this stand, have to speak to the government in whatever manner and take this forward. Otherwise, we are going to really go back to the old time where we will only see rampant uneducation and illiteracy. And that's not our future. That's not what we are wishing for. Third, we need to really strengthen the labor administration and enforcement. Like I said, with the relaxation of laws, what's happening is that inspections are getting diluted. You know, people are not more vigilant. Now, these enforcement agencies are not regularly going and keeping a check that whether the children are being employed, whether there are no children in hazardous industries. These needs to really take a proactive stand. I mean, there needs to be some guideline coming from the government that we need to strengthen our labor administration and enforcement. That's the first and foremost thing I think. We need to have a monitoring system in place. Having proven effective in past, I think that's the first thing we need to start from. We need to understand that this current pandemic and resulting lockdown should not mean that any compromise in protecting children from hazardous and exploitative labor should be allowed. And we all need to get together. Where children are exploited, upholding the rule of law is essential and is guaranteeing their right to justice. And I will request all of us watching this today to somewhere think that what we can do. It's only we can try and brainstorm. Like Karishma came up with valid suggestions. I'm thinking of few, and I'm sure everyone sitting in their homes today are thinking, after especially watching migraines, people have started thinking for them, which was not happening earlier. And that's when I say, even if it's really harmful, it's given us too much pain, but it has shown us the mirror. It has shown us our disabilities, our inabilities, our weaknesses, our failures, which were not shown earlier. They were conveniently hidden somewhere. Time to introspect for all of us, especially for our government and the institutions who are working for this. We need to take a firm step. I'm sure they are already doing something, and I'm sure they are forthcoming with a lot of initiatives. But I think this child labor needs to really be catered to in a very speedy manner. We can't wait for it. We can't allow them to suffer anymore. They've already suffered a lot. Thank you.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you so much, Monica and Karishma, for taking out time. और आपने आके हमें बहुत important aspects पे सोचने के लिए भी मजबूर किया है, and I'm sure all the participants who are attending this session have something to take, from the session. And thank you once again. And we hope to have many more such, discussions in future. And thank you once again. Thank you.
Thank you.